How's it going, everybody? It's Man Tomorrow here. I want to thank you guys for coming through. Um, I wasn't going to do a live stream on this, but after listening to these ridiculous statements said by this guy, I have to prove one point. First and foremost, our space will never have peace as long as there's a bunch of dumb individuals who want to hang out rather than make progress. We will never have peace within our space because people are just unprincipled to the point to where they think that being unprincipled is its own level of separate principle than anything else. That these people are so drawn to the anti-woman content that they refuse to actually do anything with their own lives, which has nothing to do with anyone else. This is a problem that is on them. Rather than going out and getting into IT the regular way, these people decided that they need to go to all these liberal cities as conservatives in order to nestle up with the relationship personnel so that way they can get into IT, which is something that you're supposed to do on your own in the first place. So what we're going to do, all right. So here's what the scam of the tariffs actually is. In case you didn't know, and I know it wasn't brought up by anybody within the space yet, let me tell you the scam about the tariffs. The tariffs was another way of getting tax cuts to incredibly wealthy individuals and getting the rest of the world to pay for it. That's why most of these billionaires, Robert Kiyosaki, Kevin O'Leary, all these other people who are pretending like they're not affected by what's going on, because those tariffs that came in from all these other countries, because remember, conservatives and Republicans alike was never supposed to raise taxes. That's their mantra. That's their deal. But they wanted to raise taxes on the entire rest of the countries on the planet, so that way they can blow another hole in the actual budget and give tax cuts for themselves. What's going on, Sage? That's what the scam was. The scam was that they was going to act like they was bringing in all this money from all of these people overseas to cover the tax cut that they was about to actually bring in. That's what the scam was. And they brought in the Department of Government Efficiency, no DOGE, to come kick a whole bunch of people out the federal government who have been competently doing their jobs for the past 20, 25 years and screw those people out of their retirements. Why? This is what the capitalists do. They walk into companies, they cut a whole bunch of employees, they put a whole bunch of stress on everybody else within the actual system to have everybody else fear and afraid for their actual jobs. They do this stuff on the regular, by the way. They do this stuff on the regular. But for some reason, these people have not seen the pattern because they'd rather have the culture war than anything else. I'm in the transportation industry. If stuff don't move, they don't go on shelves, then it definitely don't get sold. So when he started this tariff deal, companies have anywhere from 90 days to 6 months of things that are locally stored so that way they can keep their shelves full. Now, a trade war makes sense if you make things primarily. If you primarily make everything in the actual world, like it would make sense for China or Vietnam to do a trade war. They make all the stuff. It doesn't make any sense if you are dependent on people to buy all your stuff for you to actually have a trade war. Because those long-standing trades between these countries that we put into place, if we decide to just break our contract with anyone whenever we want to, none of this stuff actually makes any sense to even do business with the United States. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we have the biggest economy. None of that stuff matters. If you can't keep your actual word with people, who is going to be able to trust you? They could just go around you to sell their products. Just because we are the biggest market in the world doesn't mean we're the only market in the world. Now, you may think this is a good idea, but you're actually making decisions on the behalf of other American companies that has nothing to do with you. We're getting ripped off. We're getting ripped off. No, no, no. Those individual companies and those industries are getting ripped off, not you. How do you take personal offense as the president for industries you're not even in? You're not even in these industries. You're not even in these industries. There is no economist out here who says that these tariffs are a good idea, because the tariffs were supposed to cover for the tax cuts that they were supposed to do. Everyone can see that. That's what I'm saying. We're supposed to bring back the ability to seamstresses. Like, okay, so we're supposed to bring those jobs back for what? For what? That's why you're supposed to continuously skill up. But if your only skill is BGS Ibmore, is to actually weaponize the less than intelligent people around us, this is the only play you got. Now, BGS can clearly just talk about women and the gynocracy, because BGS is the gynocracy. The gynocracy that he talks about, that he makes fun of, that he's warning people about, the gynocracy is a bunch of shiftless dudes who don't want to participate in society but expect everything from it. What else would you expect from a guy who lives in California but want to vote for Kanye West, but want to vote for RFK, who doesn't have any political understanding about anything? You know what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, MOT? What's going on, my brother? I'm sorry, I was a little bit late.
I'll say go. I'll be back. All right, hold on. There we go. I'm back. Hold on. I'm going to hook back up my actual audio.
All right.
All right. I can hear you now. I'm
Okay. Yeah.
this right here that I can't hear you. But this is where we're at. And the same people who complain about the manosphere and all this stuff are the same ones who are actually addicted to this women-based content. Like, there is absolutely just about to ask where he was. No one thinks this is a good idea. Okay? No one thinks it's a good idea. Again, the gynocracy is full of a bunch of shiftless people who want to shift the burden and the blame from women to them, from themselves to getting their stuff together to actually women. Okay. Now, it is your job, as actual AM1 said, it's your job to be a man, regardless of what women think, regardless of anything else. You have to have the ability to survive. And if you don't have the ability to survive, I don't see how you can be shifting the blame towards perfect women when it's actually your responsibility to do all these things yourself. Welcome to the show, everybody. What I'm going to do is going to bring up this disaster teacher response video, so that way we can play it together. And again, this is only a problem online. You don't meet these people in real life. You don't meet them. But somehow you have them here. Now, he added us in the actual title, the Black Brain Trust and everything else. So what we're going to do, this is from the actual Master Teacher Response channel. This is his channel.
Like I said, this is to Big J Triple X, Codebreaker, Black Brain Trust, because we're talking correct stuff about things that are happening, and because these people only have the ability to talk about women or relationships, they have to cover the whole space in relationship talk. So that way, that can be the branding of our space and change the algorithm from actually progress to foolishness and entertainment. So without further ado, let's start playing this, and we're going to start seeing where he's right at or wrong at.
He's a clown. This dude's a
Yeah.
clown. But anyway, go
But,
ahead.
but at
Let's
the end of
play
the
this.
day, he can easily confront us anytime we want to. Like the link is dropped. The link stay dropped.
This
I
dude
don't
is
jump
poor.
on his panel because
He
I don't want to interrupt his what he does over there with the personnel that he's over there with.
This guy's poorly educated, and he's running around with with a lot of other people's information and cannot even do a proper analysis. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with jokers like this. But anyway, MOT, move forward. Go ahead.
Renaissance man, you want me to play this first or BGS comments first?
Wait, you said something about T?
Yeah, you want me to
Yeah.
play what you posted first or BGS comments first?
Oh, you can do whatever you want. I'm just putting some reference points in the back chat.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So let's go over the improper thing because once people can get you hooked on relationships, they can pretty much drag you anywhere they want to, and that's not a BGS ITMAR problem. That is a problem that's clearly online with idiots online. So let's go with this. Again, nobody asked him for his opinion on tariffs. He could have just stuck to talking about women.
He's certainly doing is the tariff tango, okay? And I believe what I said up at the top of the show.
Okay, let's start with this. Fox News Fox News is state-run television for the Republican Party. They're going to try to support everything that's happening with the tariffs. These are not economists. And this Cuomo guy is not to be trusted. Every time you look around, he's on opposite sides of the issues. He nestles up to the right wing whenever possible. Chris Cuomo is not to be trusted, period. And Bill O'Reilly, you know who he is. So.
I think that the big dollar guys have come to him and said, look, this is going to be a bad look for you. It's bad for us. Stop. China hasn't come to the table. China hasn't given him any reason to back off, but he's doing it anyway. What makes you think that this is really part of some plan?
Well, I don't know if it's part of some plan, but I know why he's doing it. It's because the American people are angry with these tariffs. And all the polling shows that. There's a new poll tomorrow by Mark Penn, and Trump can read. He sees his public opinion slipping, job approval slipping. People are angry and scared because they look at their portfolios, their 401ks, see them going down fast. So he's going to make an adjustment. He's nimble. He's always been that way. Always. He's never not been nimble. He's not a stubborn guy and he's, I'm going to fight this out to the end. But there's going to be a downside for what he does, that China's going to seize on it. I'm not so worried about China in the long run. I think China, as Gordon Chang pointed out, it's a lot to lose. And yeah, they'll strut around, but in the end, they'll come to some kind of accommodation. What's interesting is that the Trump administration made some pretty good deals so far, the best of which was not reported by the corrupt American press, and that's Switzerland. So Roche is going to invest $500 billion in pharmaceutical money in the USA. Did you know that?
No.
You didn't know it because it's not been reported. It's insane.
No,
it's insane.
I still don't know it. I heard it's an offering letter. I heard it's an offering letter that they haven't actually made the deal yet.
It's a deal. It's a deal.
No deals have been made yet. It's an offering letter. No deals have been made yet. And even if they did decide to invest $500 billion in pharmaceuticals, you have to understand who do the research for pharmaceuticals. The American people pay for those through NIH grants, and corporations come and buy those patents that we actually paid the research for the free, and they make billions of dollars off of it. So for somebody to come to actually invest in that, that's not really helping the average American consumer at all. When you've actually paid for the research for these actual new drugs that come on the market, and then they don't give you savings for it, they just make a whole bunch of money off of it. So this isn't why the tariffs were put in place.
And in fact, they're already picking out sites, plants to build and to make pharmaceuticals, which we desperately need made here, not in China. Now, that's the kind of thing that the press does all the time. It won't tell you the good things that are coming out of this. Modi is going to give us a better deal. Japan is going to give us a better deal. The EU, hollering and screaming, will give us a better deal. Better deals will be had. And then China,
Hey, listen,
in the end,
I think that's awesome.
Kind of
I want better deals, and I love the.
Again, this is about what has happened, not what is intending to happen. No one thinks that there's going to be a better deal made here. No one thinks that. Okay. Again, you have no information. But he is posting this. Now, BGS is posting this clip of Bill O'Reilly and Chris Cuomo, who's both individuals who are not to be trusted. Opinions about what's going on with tariffs. There's no deal that has been made. But he's posting this as if the tariffs have worked. Let's keep going.
The idea of rebalancing, right? Of rebalancing how the benefits flow. I don't think it's anti-capitalism to say if you want access to the biggest consumer market in the world, which is America, you got to give to get. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay.
It's just how you do it. The Swiss deal, and again, look, I'll take your word on it that it's done. They didn't come to the table because of tariffs. They came to the table because he asked them to. And that was my point originally with you, is he didn't need to do this to get deals with a lot of people.
It was under the it was under the tariff umbrella. Switzerland, and I did not know this, is America's #2 trading partner. Did you know that?
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay, you know who #1 is? Go.
Not China.
Mexico. Okay, so what the execution of the tariffs, I think everyone, including President Trump, if you could get him drunk, would admit that it wasn't good. It just wasn't. So you need to, when you're going to make a dramatic change in the way this country is run financially, and you're going to mess with people's money, that's the big thing. You're messing with people's money. You got to explain every iota of it in a calm, deliberate way. That was not done. And it was
because he doesn't have an explanation.
Okay, so first the tariffs were good. Now they're admitting that the tariffs are bad. Now they're admitting that you're messing with people's money. So which one is it, Bill O'Reilly? Is it working or is it not working? But the disaster teacher response posted this clip as if this is verification that the tariffs are working.
This guy's a
What is going on here? What is going on here?
He is.
Do you even know the clip you posted?
Clown. This is an absolute clown. But anyway, continue. This is unreal. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't believe that's true because he's got some pretty, Besant himself could do it, the Treasury Secretary. But he wanted shock and awe because shock and awe has worked for him in the past. It did not work here. And now that's why he's backtracking.
Well, look, and you're right. There's nothing worse than doubling down on dumb. So pick a different path when a path doesn't work. That's part of leadership. Look, another part of leadership is doing what isn't popular. You know what I mean? You can't always get good feedback from people. Sometimes you got to do it even if they don't like it in the moment. So,
hey, all my fellow civilians, back again. And we're going to be talking again about tariffs and Donald Trump. Now, the clip that I played is from Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly talking about Trump's tariffs and his recent retraction of some of the Chinese.
Okay, so I hate to make this racialized, but what black man in his right effing mind would play a clip by Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly as if that's helping any people at all, and especially black people at all? I, I, I
No,
ah,
this is
ah.
it's unreal. But
Any
anyway,
working
go ahead.
class person. Both of these individuals make their money off of ignorant Americans who think they're rich already. But let's see what this true pedestrian who lives in California think about this.
Tariffs and things of that nature. And the reason I'm playing Cuomo, especially Bill O'Reilly, is something that Bill O'Reilly said that I agree with a while back. I couldn't find the exact clip. I was looking for it when he actually said it. He said, after 40 years, the press and the nation doesn't know who Donald Trump actually is. And I've been saying that for the past, 6 months. Donald Trump is not Putin. He's not Vladimir Putin. He's not even Xi. Okay? Xi and Putin only say what they mean. If Xi and Putin say something, it's almost written in stone. Donald Trump is the exact opposite of that. In fact, he's opposite of Biden. Biden wouldn't say anything. Biden would gaslight you. He'd throw you off, but Biden wouldn't say anything. Biden would do stuff undercover. Trump is somebody who flies by the seat of his pants. That's something that Riley said. Riley said that about Trump. Trump is in the moment. And so if he's in the moment, that means his thought patterns and his strategies are fluid. So when he announced tariffs, draconian tariffs on everybody, I knew that it was a plot. It was a negotiating tactic. It wasn't anything that was set in stone. So when people flipped out about tariffs, like it's going to affect them for the next 20 years, I told people, why don't you wait and see how it plays out? Because I know Trump is very good at saber rattling. And I've seen Trump back down before. He'll stay in a position and he'll move his piece. Trump is not above moving his piece. He doesn't mind taking a personal hit or a hit to his image. Doesn't matter to him. Trump mindset is ultimately to get what he actually going for. Now, what that is, we have no idea. We can only surmise. And the way he was.
Wait a minute. You're doing all of this protectionism, but you don't know what the plan is either? We're supposed to wait it out?
But
What are you talking about?
no, but MOT, by his own logic, he's saying Trump. If you're saying Trump is in the moment when he thinks, that's literally admitting Trump doesn't have a long-term strategy.
That's what I'm
Like that's
saying. The moment is no one can refill their shelves in actually less than 60 days.
And
That's the plan.
he's been backing away from a lot of what he already said. He's had to back
What
up
do you
on a
think the
lot of stuff.
90-day pause on the actual tariffs were about?
He's had to back up
What
on.
do you think that is? If that's not backtracking.
And where are this question? Where are all these factories and businesses rushing to come into the United States right now? And where's all the money that's being made?
Okay, you lost $10 trillion in market capitalization in less than a week. If you think companies are not going to band together and collectively raise the price on everything by summer, you are out of your damn mind. They're going to recoup that money that they lost. And you saying that first Trump has a plan, then you admit that Trump doesn't have a plan. Then you admit that, oh, well, you know what? You're known who he is. It's like, yeah, he's a perennial mess up. He bankrupted casinos, something that is like a cash business. You get to cheat to make money. This guy bankrupted those, several of them.
I reckon it might be the non-playing plan that they own.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Donald Rumsfeld, there's the plan, and then there's the non-plan plan, and then there's the non-plan plan.
Okay, so he just played this clip, and then he just making stuff up as he roll along. Like this doesn't justify anything that is going on right now. If you're going to be laying down cover fire for Trump, as what Chris Cuomo and actual Bill O'Reilly did at first, and then they admitted later on that, nah, man, he just don't know what he's doing and he's messing up people's money. But we have to wait and see. Come on, man. Let's keep going with the Iblis.
Hold on, but this Ibmore analysis. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
On tariffs that everybody is basically trying to get people back to the table. In other words, that's like a hostage negotiator. He's gonna put a gun to the baby's head, which is something.
Okay, so we have a visual reference here because he's so good at bringing back people back to the negotiating table. Like this. This is the negotiating table. This right here is the negotiating table. This is bringing black women back to the table. Right here. This is how you bring them back, folks.
Oh boy.
You bring them back to the table.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. So I'm not sure how you bring people back to the table when it's very clear one person at the table for one thing and one person at the table for another. But this is a negotiating table master right here. But let's keep
going. I said a way back. Okay, he's going to put a gun to the baby's head. So the world economy that still depends on the United States. He put a gun to their head and said, "Okay, if you don't negotiate with me, I will kill the baby," knowing that he probably wouldn't, and knowing that even though he's bluffing, they couldn't take the risk. Which is why a lot of people actually came to the table and modified their stance on tariffs. China probably will too, eventually. China's a proud.
But have they done it yet? Who's came to the negotiating table yet? What deal has been made yet? Remember, there's supposed to be 90 deals in 90 days. How many people have come to renegotiate their tariffs yet or ever? How many? No one has. Not yet. Not yet. They could just wait you out, let you destroy your own economy, and make deals with each other. Just because you are the biggest market in the world, you're not the only market in the world.
Ho Chi Minh said it best. He know the American people do not like they're not gonna stay in it for the long haul.
No.
wait, just keep fighting them and wait it out.
Yep. As long as you're willing to fight to the last man, woman, and child with guerrilla tactics, you will always defeat an invading force every single time. That's how come we dropped those nukes over Japan. Because if we had to come on board on that
the war would have lasted 5 more years.
Man, 5 billion more years it would have lasted.
We may have never gotten out of that. Who knows? But I'm just saying, yeah, this is that MOT. Just continue, man. Continue ahead. This is incredible. Go ahead.
Great.
Country, and they've been done wrong by the West and the United States for a very long time. That's not easily forgotten over the past couple hundred years. They've been holding this grudge for almost 200 years. So they're not about to trust the West and trust the United States completely. So will China ease off its tariffs? Probably so, because they want to get back to business. Ultimately, China wants to do business. And ultimately, Xi and Trump will talk, whether it's through intermediaries or they will talk personally. So Trump easing his tariffs, which was first called out by his Treasury Secretary Bessent, that the tariffs against China wasn't working. And it's time to step off the gas. And guess what Trump did? He stepped off the gas, at least to this point. Now, Trump is mercurial, so we don't know exactly where he will go next, because that is part of his charm and it's probably part of his frustration. People have frustration with him is because he will change his mind. He will do something else. He will go off script, which is predictably unpredictable by Trump. Because I remember there was a lot of people in my comment section that I didn't understand tariffs. I didn't understand geoeconomics.
And they still don't.
Trump is an idiot and Trump didn't know what he's doing and Trump, like, yada, yada, yada. There's something that I didn't know that I found out. I probably have to go back and look at that somebody mentioned is that Besant is part of the Soros group that actually did the 97 Asian currency crisis when they attacked the Thai baht and the other Asian currencies and made China spend a lot of gold to bail it out.
What on earth did this have to do with Trump doing
Boy,
tariffs?
that sounds like
This
Oh, that sounds
yeah.
crazy.
So
this
everything George Soros.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
George,
mean,
Everything had to be tied
this
back to George Soros.
this is the biggest clown you have here talking in this sphere right now. I mean,
Yeah,
this is clownish. But like I said, we'll start to break this down, in
yeah.
a little bit. But this is
But this is what the
unreal,
outside the liquor
unreal,
store DNA
unreal.
dudes actually thought was a good idea to allow somebody who talk about that gynocracy, which he leads, to talk about other issues that he's not qualified for, to include the gynocracy. So let's keep
well,
going.
then,
I didn't know that. I didn't know Besant was part of that. I have to go back and read the paper because I didn't see his name. But I'm definitely going to go back and read that paper. The paper's called The Asian Currency Crisis 10 Years Later. About a 200-page paper. So I'm going to have to go back and read that. But I just want to call it out. I said BGS was right. So I told people let it play out. Trump put on tariffs for 2 weeks
How
and
is?
people flipping out.
Hold on. How's BGS right? Right about what? What are
This
you
is
right about?
this is unreal. This this is
What's
this is
going on?
unreal. This is unreal. This is Ibmore Babel saying he's
What
right,
are you right about?
and then
We're
these
not even
people are
out
listening
of
to
this
him,
yet.
and then these people are listening to him saying he's right because they're counting on this misinformation from this clown. I mean, this is incredible. But continue. I mean, he's doing all the stuff without a shred of proof, without a shred of anything. This is this
What
is
is he
almost like
about
it's
though?
almost like
The
it's almost like
tariffs are not
schizophrenia.
working.
Let this play.
We lost 10 trillion in market capitalization. What are you right about? Like what?
Like, this is going to be permanent. And he's going to destroy the United States. He's going to destroy the dollar. He's going to destroy the industry. And prices going to go up 200%. Nobody be able to buy anything. And everybody just flipped out. Like, everybody just panicked, which Trump is very good at doing, having people flip out. Unless you know him. That's why I played Bill O'Reilly, right? Because Bill O'Reilly's been knowing the guy for 35 years. Getting ready to interview the guy for some kind of special. When his 100 days, I think, when his 100 days are up, it is what it is. Now, all you civilians and you pedestrians that flipped out and have no clue about how stuff works. I don't, I don't know what to tell
Unreal.
you. I don't know what to
Unreal.
tell you. All of a sudden, all these experts in tariffs and policy.
Yeah, they're called economists, and people are reporting what the economists are saying. Name me an economist outside of some right wing grifter that think this is good. No one is saying this is good. Even Bill O'Reilly and Chris Cuomo, they started off with, you don't know this guy, you got to wait and see. And then it turned out being, hey, man, we don't know what's going on. We just know people money being messed with, ours included. But BGS is right. Let's keep going here.
Come out of the woodwork. I never heard them say a word until they want to disagree with me. Until they want to disagree with me. Then all of a sudden they become experts. Now, they've never they mentioned one paper, one book, one person, one article about any of this stuff, and all of a sudden they're experts. I've been following this stuff since Willie 94. It's 94. So I do know a thing or two about this kind of stuff. I've observed this stuff over a long period of time. So I do know patterns. I have seen patterns. I've also seen Trump's patterns. Now, everybody said Trump's an idiot. Even though he went to Wharton, they said he's not very smart. But people that have been around him and seen him interact, they know that he is. And they also know that he leans heavily on people that are experts. They probably also know that he leaned very heavily on Besant. And from what I'm
What?
hearing about between Besant and Musk, Musk. I don't know what they were arguing about. Maybe they're arguing about the Chinese.
Even Elon Musk said that these tariffs are not good.
Yeah, Elon
Yeah,
said he wanted free trade with Europe at least. Because
yeah.
remember, Trump's tariffs, he put
That's a
tariffs on
removal of all tariffs,
Canada.
by the way. That's
He
a
put
removal of
tariffs
all tariffs,
on
by the way. Yeah.
Mexico. Put tariffs on European allies, not just China.
You know what?
And if you're like, well,
If
it's
he
going to bring
does
these
something
people back to
stupid
the
like putting
negotiating
tariffs
table.
on Mexico when it comes to like avocado and tomatoes, man, this whole thing would collapse, bro.
No, the thing is this. Okay, if you want to say you want to bring China to the table with tariffs, okay, fine. You just don't go put it on all the other countries and isolate yourself and then give China the opportunity to go cut deals with those countries that you isolated yourself from. It plays right into the Chinese hands. Makes no
I
sense.
I
What
said
expert is telling you to go and do this? Besides Peter
I said
Navarro, who literally made up someone an expert
a
by
fictional
changing his letters in
economist
his
in his
name.
head, a fictional economist he made up just to prove his point. And I don't know, but I truly believe that many are still living off that post World War II nostalgia of how great America was. America just was the only country that didn't get attacked other than Pearl Harbor and got devastated and had to rebuild. So America had everything. And throughout the years, they just bumbled it away. All because they didn't want to do that for the people. And it's stuff like this, these stupid tariffs that it's going to take 15, 20, 30 years to recover from.
Yes.
They going to still keep denying that, oh, no, Trump done the. But,
I mean, this guy is so stupid. Um, and I'm talking about Trump now. But besides they're more as a joke. But I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah. You know,
the
no, no, you got to differentiate, man. There's a lot of stupid going.
there's a lot of stupid going on. But the Trump the Trump administration they first started imposing new kind of large tariffs on U.S. imports from China starting in 2018. And Trump swore talking about how Biden blew this and how he did that and did that. So the Trump tariffs in 2018, when Biden came into office, all right, when Biden came in, he kept those basic tariffs going. All right, he extended a few, added some, technology restricted, technology based restrictions, but but you know he kept those same. He kept those. He basically kept the Trump tariffs, or from back in 2018. Okay, this Joker comes in now in 2025 after he's out and wants to throw 20, wants to throw over 20%, 25% in a lot of the places, 100 and some odd percent over China, and thinks we're going to have dollars pouring into our treasury. Um, it's a recipe. This is a recipe for disaster, because what does that do? That makes other countries, other places go to other spots to look to to roll with their goods.
and
I,
they can
you
give
know,
them money to develop other places that's not developed and and build a relationship with them. But we taking U.S. aid away from them places, and hey,
and we always made money on a certain level of tariffs on China from Chinese imports, literally from the late 19th century, early its 20th, and the last 3 decades. During the Clinton, Bush, and Obama administrations. This is even before Trump took office the first time. So these you have to also remember that revenue from tariffs on Chinese imports come from the importers, not China.
and
Importing businesses pay tariffs and decide whether to pass any portion of those costs on the consumers through higher prices. So this is kind of how this is working, and you know what's Trump's real aim here? You think you really going to cause people to go? You're just going to run people off. You're going to run people off. And this fool who's trying to
Make
do this
each other
analysis,
and leave you out.
and this fool who's trying to do the analysis, he's sitting here aping what these guys don't even agree on, don't even agree to. I'm talking about O'Reilly and Cuomo. They at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, this ain't really gonna work. And this guy saying, yeah, I told you so, but I'm right again. I mean, can you? This guy is making no sense at all. No sense at all. Doesn't saying people we don't know how things work. Does this guy even know what's going on? Does this guy know what's even going on?
No. Like spreading misinformation is his job. Making sure that there's no congealment of information so people can act is his job. That's what his job is. His job is not to actually not have conflict. His job is to run interference for the right wing by pretending that he's in the middle, but supporting the right, but living under a 100% liberal state.
Yeah, only thing I keep hearing is like Jan Brady, Marsha, China, and forgetting the whole thing that throughout the years, United States propped up China to trade out the trade out the middle class, ship jobs over there for cheap labor.
Yes.
Now China got a foothold. Now you mad? What?
I mean, this whole thought process is just it doesn't even make sense.
They just don't know history. Don't know history, and this stuff is out there for people to see. But they rather have the culture war. They rather think that you know what I would listen to that, but we need to get these transgendered out of these sports first. I would listen to that, but we need to get these Mexicans back across the border first. And it's like, dude, if you're gonna keep putting things behind these nonsensical wedge issues, then nothing's ever gonna work. But let's see what this Iblis got to say more than he's saying now.
Tariffs. I don't know, but I have a funny feeling that their argument that blew up in the White House was over these particular tariffs. I don't know if Musk wanted them lowered or eliminated, or Besant wanted them lowered or eliminated. I don't know which. I'd love to hear what the argument was, but I have a funny feeling this is the only thing he could argue with Besant about. But everybody knew that there's no way that we could go a year or so without some kind of reconciliation on these freaking tariffs, because it would actually wreck our whole economy. And China started putting export restrictions on certain minerals, strategic minerals that we need to go into weapons, go into airplanes, go into a whole bunch of stuff. So we knew that wasn't going to happen. That was
so he's admitting that
Yes.
Trump followed his plan, it would wreck our economy.
Yes.
He's admitting.
And that's what I'm saying. When you look at this whole analysis, it makes no sense. Why would this guy get up here saying this? Why would this fool get up here?
You still don't know.
Why would this fool? And looking at what our what our tariff policy has been with China, literally over the last 30 to 40 years, and where we are right now, and this guy thinks that this is working. This is going to bring people to the table. Has no proof anywhere of this going on, but saying that he's right. I mean, you have to look how crazy this guy sounds, man.
This is easily solved by saying the following thing: tariff equal import tax. How hard is that? Real easy, isn't it?
I mean, it's insane what this guy's doing, and a lot of these other who would I see here? Trump put tariffs on an island with penguin. I mean, this guy taxing.
He wants to tax the entire planet to pay for their actual tax cuts locally. That's what the plan was. That's what the scam was. It's not hard.
Putting tariffs on islands that have penguins, man. It's just
they have across the board in order to pay for the tax cuts locally. Let's keep going here. It's not that much.
It's going to be a no-go. So eventually they were going to have to let up on it. And China is still restricting certain metals and certain minerals and rare earths that we can't get. I played the video by Inside China Business that told about the restrictions on rare earths that China has like a 90% monopoly on. So I knew there was no way that we could sustain this. Now, even after this, China has also built a parallel marketing system that's going away from the dollar. And China had begun to de-dollarize even faster than it was. So I knew Trump was going to have to backpedal to slow this down. Now, he announced these tariffs because he needs the Chinese to come to the table. And somebody else has said that the Americans think they can come to the table with a stronger hand and detect and actually dictate terms. And that's not true. It was true at one point. At one point, it was true. I could, play a bunch of stuff that from experts that say at some point this was true that the United States could come in and put their penis on the table and dictate terms. They can't do that anymore. So now this is the reality. I'm sure Trump, with his experts and with his intelligence agencies, they know that if we know it on the ground here as
This is not about intelligence agencies. Intelligence agencies don't talk about tariffs. Like, what on earth are you talking about? First, you
Wait,
said
so
that they did the same thing Cuomo did. First, they said things were fine and you don't know Trump's plan. Then all of a sudden, hey, man, we don't know what's going on. Okay. All right. Got it.
wait, so
Okay.
but once again, he's talking about the intelligence agencies, and they know he can't do this. But then Trump's supposed to be listening to the experts.
Make it make sense,
Like,
bro.
what? It's just
Make it make sense, dude.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have
Dude,
mercy.
it's made of pure 110% pure clownium. Pure clownium. Pure.
so. So according, like I said, according to this, Trump's tariffs are working, but we don't know
Yes.
what they're working towards because
Yes.
Trump is so in the moment. He doesn't even know he hasn't even devised what the end goal is yet.
Correct.
But we know they're working.
But you have to say, I predicted this. You have to fit that in there somewhere.
Yeah, and my dumb ass was right again. What?
Yeah, that's why they got to keep the grift alone. Like, oh, it's fine to keep. It's gonna keep the base and people like BGS and that crew. It's gonna keep them happy. Yeah, yeah, it worked. Even though, I mean, I'm in trans. I already see the downturn of it,
Man, look.
and I'm like, I mean, what? I mean, and you, I'm like, what do people not? All you gotta do is do research on your own. You ain't, regardless what you feel, and you'll see. That's what I done. And
You don't even see that many containers going out of Atlanta,
no,
which is what you
no,
normally just see on the road. You barely even see containers on the road. That's Atlanta. Let's keep going here.
as regular people, as civilians, people at the top that are experts already know it too. So it's not that big a stretch that they know it and they know how much trouble that we'll be in if we do this, such, and so. So I knew they were going to back down. They had to back down because you're going to kill a whole bunch of industries, and there's no way we can spin up the necessary supply chain fast enough to take place of China. It took China 30 years to get into this supply chain game. It took them 30 years.
Let's stop here for a second. First, you admitted that Trump has a plan. Now you just said what the reality is, but you just predicted this. He did the same exact thing Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly did. At the first beginning of the conversation, they said that what Trump was doing was good. And then 5 minutes later, they said they had no idea what was going on. BGS just did the exact same thing here. The exact same thing. BGS now is talking about the realities on the ground.
We don't have
yeah,
that
you
kind of
gonna
time. So, like I said, this was a bluff. This was saber rattling by Trump. This is a way to get the world back at the table so he can start negotiating these deals. That's what he's doing now. He's done it with a lot of countries in Europe. He's done it with Mexico. He's done it with Canada. It's like he's either lessened or backed off the tariffs completely, and other countries in Asia where they've lessened the tariffs, same thing in Europe where they've lessened the tariffs, is because you need to bring these people back to the table, according to Trump, where he's thinking. And so now the tariffs did what? They got their attention. They got him where he's unpredictable. He could destroy the global economic system, and too many people rely on that. So they will at least have to listen. China at least has to listen. That is probably your last step. If China comes to the table and they hammer out agreement, then you're probably pretty cool up until the next crisis, maybe the next president. We don't know. But this is for all you civilians out there, and you, especially you pedestrians that have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Okay, this is Cuomo, and this is
Unreal.
Haradi saying the exact same thing I said. Mark, that's why I played you Mark Frost, an independent voice, that said exactly the same about a month or so ago. A lot of people are flipping.
Mark Frost is not an independent voice. Working class people don't depend on Bill O'Reilly and Chris Cuomo for any type of opinion. The only people who depend on that type of opinion is people who want to run interference for the right wing and pretend like they're in the middle or that they don't have a side pick. Chaos is the side that this dude picked. But let's keep going.
For now, and I knew that Trump would back down if necessary. All right, he was going to get what he wanted. He was going to back down. He was not going to kill the economy over tariffs. He was not, because that would be violating his campaign promise, which is to lower inflation. Everybody knows it. And him keeping tariffs that high is not going to do very much good because we don't have the jobs, necessary job skill sets to take over that industry anyway, or a whole bunch of other industries. I think we still have to get Chinese parts in to actually build anything.
So you keep
Wait,
admitting the reality after you say you predicted the exact opposite. It's either
so
you don't know what he's saying or we're listening wrong.
wait, does this
But
guy know that there are some people who think we're already in a recession right now?
yes,
Because
right
He
now,
like,
right
he
like
now.
he has no clue of this. I mean, this guy, look at him. He's clueless. Just listen to what he's saying. He's clueless.
And everybody else is a pedestrian. Experts are a pedestrian. The things that I see, I'm in transportation, I'm a pedestrian. I guess
but
anybody who knows what they're talking about is
Yeah,
a pedestrian.
yeah.
And anybody else who don't is an actual Itmore who
but
knows what's
why
going on.
wait, but why like if Trump was just not gonna crash the economy, why did they have people who are literally like executives saying, "Hey, you need to focus on your growth agenda and stop doing this"? Like,
Yeah.
like why was Elon Musk crashing out if Trump was not going to crash the economy to go and do this? Like, what are we
The
talking about here?
corporate America on the
BYD
whole.
sales have actually topped Tesla. That came out today.
Hey, listen.
Yeah. The only thing
The
they got to do is just allow open competition for Chinese EVs in every country that Tesla is sold, and Tesla will be wiped out. Like
and
Tesla is only there because of non-competition. Why on earth would you come piss off all of these people, knowing that you are in the liberal selling cars to liberal business?
Funded, funded,
Unbelievably stupid.
funded
let,
by taxpayer. May I add you?
Yes, makes money
corporate
off of tax credits, but he wants to come in and do
corporate
government
America.
efficiency when his whole
Cor-
business model is about non-competition set up by the government. Unreal. The level of
corporate
stupidity.
corporate America sat down and told this dude, man, step back. You're banging us all out. Step back. Start to sit down. Step back on this. It's going to be a real problem. And if you don't, things are going to get even worse. And we know what that's going to mean. He's had to walk a lot of stuff back. This guy never thought through anything he was trying to do. Never thought through. All right. You know, from his tax, from his tariffs of 2018, Biden kept them. Comes in here, and when now he decides to go to, he decides to quadruple and do whatever, go up 110%. I mean, this guy he's coming off like he actually is a madman. The corporatist people are looking at this like saying, this is not making sense for us. This is not making sense for us, guy. And you're not forcing anybody to the table. You're not forcing anyone to the table. Who are you forcing to the table?
It sounds like people are at the table, man.
Yeah.
People are at the table.
It's
bro.
the rest of the world at the table, and United
They're
States is
there.
over there in the corner by ourselves, and
That
the rest
seems
of the
like a
table getting
pretty
ready to get
equal
up on it.
deal. Everybody at the table.
Yeah, and the table getting ready to get on his legs and walk away from the United States because they tired of these the arrogance, the stupid games y'all want to play. You think it's cute, you think it's funny, and now a lot of these hedge fund managers are like, oh, we might have went too deep. Oh, you think?
But look at the table, man. Look,
Yeah. Because at
look
the
at
The
table,
rest of the
they're
world,
showing
the
their
rest of the world.
non-biting teeth. They're showing their non-biting teeth.
Oh man, Deus.
And
Yeah,
those
this
guys are
is
shocked because wow, people are really here. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and and MOT, you are you're in the trucking industry. You
Yes.
what's 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 going on? I like to say, what's going on at the ports? What's going on
Hey,
at the
look,
port?
ports are
Hey,
still closed, man.
What's going on at the
I've
port?
hauled a bunch of.
Yeah.
I try to explain to some. Look, I've hauled my flatbed days. I hauled many steel from many ports, and it's
Yes.
come from China. And you
I've done a lot of
cannot build
steel for Trump actual hotels. I have done
you.
steel for a bunch of those hotels that were being built with all that Eastern Bloc actual labor.
You put the tariff on the steel from China. We don't have the capacity over here. We don't have the skilled workers. Remember, you got ICE picking up every so-called legal immigrant. It is you ain't got the skill or the labor force to build no manufacturing plants for to to impose a tariff, but it just sounded good to a bunch of people. That
Yeah.
tariff, yeah. Anything better than this? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you think so, but
Yeah, so let's play this clip from Renaissance Man. Hold on a second, Mike B says something. Every few years, he's talking about someone coming to the table. During the pandemic, he said the women were coming back to the table. Now he's talking about other countries coming back to. Yeah, it's always some table talk. Let's go here with Renaissance posted.
Credit card and you go shopping and you run up a large credit card debt, you're running a trade deficit with all those shops. Now, it would be pretty strange if you then blamed all the shop owners for having sold you all those things. You're ripping me off. You're ripping me off. You're ripping me off. I'm running a trade deficit. That is the level of understanding of the President of the United States. The trade deficit does not represent at all trade policies. It represents spending relative to production or earnings. We call that an identity. I teach it in the second day of my course in international monetary economics. Trump never made it to the second day. So he says, you're running a trade deficit. Look, they're all cheating me. But all that's happening is the United States is outspending its national income. And you can look at the national income chart. You can add up consumption and investment and government spending, and you could subtract off gross national product. And lo and behold, what will that equal? Not approximately, exactly. That will equal the current account deficit, which is the comprehensive measure of how much you spend on goods and services versus how much you sell in goods and services. So the United States runs a current account deficit because it spends more than it produces. Why does it do that? We have a big credit card in the United States. It's called the national government. The US government spends about $2 trillion a year more than it takes in revenues. What it's doing is making transfers to the American people and to American businesses. It doesn't tax Americans for those transfers because, here's another little fact, because the congressmen that vote on the budget got into office by being paid for their campaigns by rich people who don't like taxes. So the political system says spend, but don't tax us. So we run a chronic deficit in the United States. That spending goes out either as transfer payments or goods and services, and that's more than our national income, which is about $30 trillion, and our spending is about $31 trillion. And that's our trade deficit. And for that, Donald Trump blames the world. Okay, I fail him for this if he were my student. He's my president. It's a little weirder because when he did this, in 2 days, the world lost $10 trillion of market capitalization. By the way, where did it go? Did it get transferred from here to here? No, it got destroyed.
MOT?
Why destroy?
Pause that.
$10 trillion.
In a week.
These
In a week. Actually, 4 days.
Not-
4 days.
Not
Dude,
not
Or trading
million,
days.
not billion, but trillion. But
that's
the
larger
average
than the
person-
GDP of some countries.
Of some countries, you're talking
that's
about
the rural.
You're talking about maybe 50 countries there in certain places lined up to all together. Are you kidding me? 10.5 trillion bucks. That is an astronomical number. That's an astronomical amount of wealth being lost. Just being sucked out of the economy, and it's going to come back on us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got these mukbang buffet guys.
Yeah, I mean,
talking crazy. I mean, this shit is crazy. I mean, this is crazy. I mean that you got this MAGA up in here talking this craziness. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Magalus Prime.
I mean, it's unbelievable, man. It's
Magatron.
Magaltron.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, even I some of these people, like I say, the grift is so real about this Donald Trump and all this. Like I used to listen to Dave Ramsey, and he drunk the Trump Kool-Aid, and he's still defending the tariffs.
Yes.
They he was so against Bitcoin, and Donald Trump is letting all the Bitcoin people run amok here in the country. And the grift is so real that people believe this, and I just walk away from them. I can't. I'm not gonna argue with them. I can't explain it. I mean, try to lead them to facts, and they just don't want to listen to it.
And Trump is doing another meme coin right now where he's running up the score, running another pump and dump scheme on these dudes on the crypto tip. And it's like it's like the fifth or sixth one, and they still don't get it.
They don't get it. And this is a totally manipulated market that he's got going on over there.
Yes.
And it's unregulated. You know, I was on Wall Street. I understand. That's why I don't really mess with it like that, because I understand exactly what kind of a system you're in an unregulated one.
I got in early, real early, and I have not bought any more of any kind. And I don't even trust what I do have. I pay a lot of taxes on it, but that's the way it is. So let's keep going with this.
Destroyed. Because trade, something also the President of the United States doesn't understand, is mutually beneficial. So if you stop trade, everybody loses. It's not that one side wins, the other side loses. He cannot understand that concept. As a guy that traded real estate in New York, So his idea is somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. But what happened when he made this announcement was $10 trillion was wiped out worldwide. It's not that the US went up and they went down. No, everybody went down because the whole world system is based on a division of labor, and he's breaking that division of labor into pieces. So then people said, this doesn't make sense. Even the very rich people that gave him the money for him to get into office started saying this doesn't make sense. The hedge fund managers who are his big campaign contributors, Elon Musk, who paid for his election, became prime minister. He said this doesn't make sense. And then the markets said this doesn't make sense. Not only $10 trillion, but as the finance minister said, interest rates started to rise because people began to dump U.S. Treasury debt.
The safest thing in the world, apparently.
So interesting what happened. It's not quite true that he reversed things. First, he left on this 10% tariff, except for one country, for China,
145%,
where he
on some
raised
products.
the tariff rates. That's because the United States has a deep, neurotic attachment to China. The U.S. political...
Hold on. And no tariffs to Russia.
No
tariffs to Russia.
No,
At all.
No.
Yeah, no tariffs to Russia. Let's keep going.
Political system hates China. Why? Because China's big and successful. And so that the U.S. hates. It's a rival, it's a competitor. And so this is the one thing he left on. Now he's going to mess up everything with this too, because in a trade war between the U.S. and China, China wins. China does not depend on the U.S. market very much. It's about 12% of China's exports. China will do just fine. It's just dumb policy. There's no more, sorry to say it, there's just no more explanation to this than that. It makes no sense. Now, it raises, if I could, just one last point. How can this happen when it makes no sense? And that people should understand, we are in one-person rule in the United States. Our political system is in a state of collapse. What President Trump did is an emergency decree. Everything he does is an emergency decree. Literally, you can go on to whitehouse.gov and then follow the menu to executive decrees. And there are dozens of them. And each one starts the same way. With the powers invested in me as President of the United States, I hereby declare A, nonsense, B, nonsense, C, nonsense. Because he's king. Those powers are not invested in the President of the United States. They're invested in the Congress. You read Article 1, Section 8 of our Constitution. It says that all duties originate with the Congress. And specifically in the lower house, all legislation has to start in the House of Representatives. But the U.S., starting in 1945 after World War II, became a military state to a large extent. And so it sprinkled in its legislation emergency, emergency, emergency. And Trump doesn't have to prove anything's an emergency, he just has to say something's an emergency. So suddenly the trade deficit became an emergency, and on that basis he issues a one-person rule. Even his aides don't know what he's doing.
Yep.
You raise one final interesting issue, which is that the market recovered about $4 trillion when he reversed. Anyone who knew that 5 minutes before made billions. This is not the cleanest government in the world, I can tell you. I'd be hugely surprised if some people didn't know just a bit ahead of time, starting with members of the U.S. Congress, by the way.
Correct. And pretty much what we have in the White House is what's on the screen. This is what you have. This is what you have. Makes that much sense.
Damn.
That's what you have.
Look at that. Look at that reptile. Look at that
Makes
snapperhead.
makes too much sense.
But that
How are you
reptile
gonna
is my
argue?
president. He's my president.
How you gonna
I'll
argue
die
with that?
for him. That's my president. That reptile is my president. I'll die for
Say it
him.
again, Bunker TV. The biggest insider trading deal in history.
History.
Yes. And all those people in the back are doing what? Sitting back and just watching it happen. Sitting back and just watching it happen.
Now I will admit there are some. I met some at my delivery. Some older gentlemen. They kind of shook up about it because they retirement ain't what it was. What they thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
But they showed they had their red hat on for the
Yes, they
last
did.
since 2016. I'm like, okay, y'all think stuff is a joke and it'll just normalize. This is what I doubt this go back to normal if it ever can, because the world, like I said again, the world is moving on. We ain't got no time to play games.
Yeah.
This guy in office, man. This is incredible. And this is
Because
incredible.
there's plenty you're gonna argue with this guy.
This is incredible, man. So policy is way off.
And imagine this BGS being able to talk all of this stuff from a completely liberal society where he's not able to contribute at all and doesn't need to at all.
Useless, clueless, useless and clueless. Clueless, useless. Doesn't even know how that stuff works.
Look,
Useless.
stick to these dudes talking about women. Okay? When it comes to things in the real world, let the so-called quote unquote pedestrians who know stuff do things. Okay?
Let's waste your time with this guy, man.
Yeah. Just take credit, man. Just take credit when things work. Don't try to make predictions in the middle of things that don't have any future. Like I hate to be giving Ipmorian advice.
Ipmorian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a few more of these. It's a few more of these. I about want to add Dennis Sperling onto this.
Oh, please. Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, I just don't want to
that-
pay no taxes.
that-
Okay, man. Okay.
That clown. That guy
And that
sold
appeals to idiots. Like, look,
Ooh.
I want to function in society, but I definitely damn sure don't want to pay for nothing.
I ain't want to pay for nothing. You know how you think things work. I mean, well, they're giving all these billions of dollars to Ukraine. What?
These guys, they're out there just saying. They're out there saying anything.
You don't know how you don't watch C-SPAN. It's too boring for you to watch C-SPAN for more than 2 minutes, and to find out how the money get allocated from the Congress to go to the defense contractors to make weapons that go to Ukraine. Oh, you didn't, but hey, that's just too hard to.
Hey, look,
I hate to promote idiocy.
They're running the grifter. They're running the grifter. Go ahead.
But we got to see what Dennis Sperling is on his next live stream. Now, I'm just going to show you a photo. I don't want you going over there. There's no trolling the guy. You're mentally retarded if you're already over there. There's no need to come back over here. If I try not to look, because if I see your name over there, you will be blocked over here. So I'm just because he's on his FBA grift now. But you have to read what's here. I'm gonna read it. Hold on. Let me take Donald Trump off the screen.
All right. President Trump executive order grants foundational Black Americans the right to sue African nations.
Oh my goodness.
Woo! Lord, oh Lord, Lord.
And you got a bunch of dumb people
For
in
what?
there looking at.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Even if that is correct, what lawyers do you have? We don't got none. we, we we don't know how to take nothing to the rural court. No, what you gonna do? Take the Tariq and sheet up there and make us
or
look like
Trump
damn idiots?
administration that is coming after the terrible things that have been going on.
Yeah.
I mean, these cats know nothing about the rural court. How countries be battling it out. Oh.
Wait,
Biden gave Iran $16 billion. It was their money. Come to find out, the United States was holding it because they was Iraq and Iran had a deal about Iran provide them power, and they wanted their money. But the sanctions, U.S. just put it on hold. It was their money, but Biden gave them the money. Y'all Negroes don't know nothing about nothing.
And there's another thing too. This guy's talking about deportations and more black men are getting jobs because of all these deportations going down. This man has deported less people, okay, less folks than Biden or Obama during the same period of time in
MOT.
office.
And more Renaissance man. Have any?
I was gonna say this: more black people are supposed to be more black men are getting more jobs because of this.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's trying to arrest innocent people to get them out of the country because they can't. I mean, it's unreal.
It could have worked if he went after the
and
people he
this-
was supposed to. I hate to give Trumpian advice, not my thing. But if you just went after the people you were supposed to go after, not your actual supporters, it probably would have worked. But he's so incompetent and he wanted to spread so much chaos. These people didn't understand that your circumstance made you.
No.
I want to
MOT.
ask.
Go ahead.
Did we go over Trump's polling numbers?
Oh, okay.
No, we didn't.
Could you send me that?
Yeah.
I have to ask y'all. I have to ask y'all this question before you go to polling number.
Go ahead.
Now we all live near a Home Depot, or Lowe's, or Maynard's. So what? Have anybody seen any American out there like the illegal immigrants waiting to do work since Trump has this mass deportation thing come on? Cause there's plenty of jobs out there now. Cause they was out there every morning at the Home Depot sitting around there waiting on, and it was plenty of people coming to pick them up. Where are all the hardworking Americans who said that they was taking their jobs? Said, hey, go to the Home Depot and hold up a sign. I work. Where you at?
Walmart. Target CEO privately warned tariffs could lead to empty shelves. Yeah, if the ports are not open and your company is dependent on Chinese products to fill your shelves, and you do something to stop everything that happens at the ports all over the United States. Yeah, it's I'm telling you, they're gonna be paying up a $1 to get this stuff off the ports. It's gonna be mass gridlock everywhere. The traffic is gonna be out of control
Man,
when that happens. And I don't want nothing to do
I
with it.
remember. Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of Kimberly Clark when toilet paper was off the shelves and trucks was lined up for miles just to get in. But it's hard to tell. These
Procter and
grifters and they
Gamble
followers.
and all these
Yeah,
other
Procter.
places that actually make it. Yeah, it was crazy. You had to put special locks on your actual trailer. They was paying like $5 or $6 a mile to move toilet paper. The shit was crazy during COVID. Crazy.
Oh my goodness, boy! I mean, I just
Renaissance,
don't.
could you post those poll numbers so that way we can show those?
Yeah, it's in the back chat.
Okay, all right, you just posted just that. All right. So
Let's do this.
Well, in the meantime, you got the folks talking about it's more concerned about Shador Sanders. He getting badly treated, and what's her name is Candace Owens. Is they what the hell did that got to do? What's going on in the world?
Shannon Sharpay and this
Shannon Sharp,
Shannon Sharp.
19-year-old
Oh.
adventures. Remember how BGS wanted to lower the actual age of consent, and this is how you look when you lower the age of consent. Once you get caught up, you're looking crazy. All right, so let's look at these poll numbers. And these are not liberal, quote unquote, polls either. So let's make this bigger. Boom, boom. So, because your SBE and friends are not going to cover actual things. So let's just do it for you. All right, Fox News poll. Overall approval. Immigration barely winning on.
That's the only thing with their margins.
And not even approved on that. This is a Fox News poll. If you lost the Fox News people, the economy, who is approving that the way the tariffs, nobody is approving. Inflation, this is a Fox News poll. This is among idiots who don't get it. Ipsos Reuters, overall approval, 42. The economy, 77. Immigration, slightly losing on immigration, which is supposed to be the strongest issue. Pew Center, overall approval, 40. I'm not sure why there's such a drastic drop in actual approval rating. That's crazy. Tariffs, nobody thinks tariffs is wrong. Doge cuts, nobody approves of that. Overall economy, the only people who think that about the actual economy is people who don't know how the economy works and people who don't pay attention to how anything is going. Because when you ask them for specifics, they have no idea what's going on. None.
Those are the ones that's holding out hope to the end. He got a plan.
Yes.
He's just
got a
shaking
plan.
up,
I mortgage my
everything.
credibility on the fact that there is a plan. But okay, all right, no problem, guy.
Or them farmers that's sitting around there looking for another taxpayer bailout.
Yes. Yeah. Wall Street got pretty mad when the actual Fed chair said that there will be no bailouts for any of you guys. And they was like, womp, womp, womp. What do you mean we're not going to get any bailouts? And that's what it is, man. You have to understand that a lot of these people just don't understand. Okay. Let's go to the New York Times Siena College poll, which is actually, regardless of what you think about the New York Times, they at times piss me off to no end, but their polls are good. So this is what we got for them. All right. So his job as president, 42%. On immigration, 47%. Managing the government, 44%. The economy, 43%. Trade with other countries, 42%. Foreign conflicts, 40%. The war between Russia and Ukraine, 35%. The case involving Kilmar Briega Garcia, 31%. Who can actually think that violating a court order when you deported the wrong person to the actual country that he was actually trying to get away from is a good deal? Who are these people who think that's a good thing? Violating a court order. That's crazy.
Even his one of his base members said, "What if I go to court and judge told me to do something, I just ignore it? Am I gonna be able to walk free?"
Go ahead and try it.
At the end of the day, they knew that this case was going this way, and they just want to make the El Salvadorian prison another Guantanamo Bay for people that he just disagree with. And he's paying millions of dollars to warehouse those people over there.
Taxpayers, taxpayers, man, paying good money for that. But hey.
Hey, what were you gonna say, RM?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I said let these guys, if they want to, go ahead and try it. Defy a court order and see what happens.
Yeah.
They were saying
let me say this very quickly. He just put a judge in. The FBI just arrested a federal judge today on a immigration case issue where they felt some guy got away and they let some judge let some guy get away and they arrested the judge. Arrested a federal judge.
What about that judge who let the boy get away for raping raping that one poor girl that was passed out drunk? Said because he got a future ahead of him, they gonna arrest him.
But they arrested a judge. I'm just saying a judge. State judge. They arrested a judge today. So they're trying some pretty ill stuff. They're trying some ill stuff. These guys are trying some ill stuff. They're trying some very ill stuff. But you won't,
So let's look at it. All right. So they accused the guy of the judge of tampering with evidence in the actual case. So let's put that up.
Of which you have no proof about or anything. No proof. None.
Yeah, former New Mexico judge accused of tampering with evidence in the Trady NBD case, I guess. So this New Mexico judge was arrested by federal Homeland Security investigators Thursday and accused of tampering with evidence in a case against a man suspected of being a member of this gang. See, suspected of, arrested and suspected of, not definite. No true investigation all the way to the end. They just arrested the guy.
NBC, they Fox News the second. Suspect. You see how they write the article? They ain't gonna. Everybody that read it gonna skip over that word suspect and say, "Well, he tampered with him."
So,
not investigated, not adjudicated, not sentenced, suspected.
In legal you have to have great probable cause. There are a lot of things you have to really have. They haven't even and they haven't proven that. They haven't come down and gotten enough evidence, but they just went and grabbed this person. So this is pretty wild. These guys are really they're pushing the envelope, man. They're pushing the envelope, and things. These are some crazy incompetent savages, but they're pushing the envelope. Due process and all this kind of stuff being stepped over. You're not gonna last long doing that.
And here's the other thing that people don't get, and I've seen people use this as an excuse. Don't listen to these people when they say the following thing. When they say the following things like, I don't know why you're so upset about other people that's happening to other people. Well, it's not happening to black people, so why are you so concerned? And it's like, well, you do want other people to actually deal with your issues. You have to show the same courtesy to other groups of people when there's an actual issues that happen with their community. Because as Martin Luther King said, an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. And if you want the same protection that other people's going to get, you have to show the same level of protection to other people. Oh, right on time. Why do you care so much about these migrants? Because they're actual human beings, dude. They're human beings that don't deserve to be having this focus on them based on covering for this culture warrior nonsense. I would want the same protection that I'm trying to get these immigrants and migrants, by the way. I would want that.
And that sounds like a Tariq the sheep faller right there.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, they don't reciprocate. Here's the thing. You're not even showing them the basic level of fucking respect in the first beginning, but you asking for somebody to fucking reciprocate shit. This is what I mean by people just don't fucking know what the fuck is going on.
And you're going outside of the law with a lot of this. There's a process, there's due process, there's a way things work. You can't go outside of that. You're going outside of that, you start doing that, then they can ultimately end up doing that to anybody. So you think it's a bunch of immigrants, but it won't be a bunch of immigrants. It'll be you. Trump already said.
Short-sighted.
Trump already said, "Hey, listen, I want to grab some Americans up in here and send them down that way." And who do you think are those people he's going to be looking to send down there?
Dude, they're so
If he can.
short-sighted that they don't even care about
Do
what's
you
going
people
on.
understand that you are being targeted, but yet don't even understand that? I mean, this is unbelievable that these people are sitting here not thinking about it. You said I'm not scared. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be scared. Others will certainly be looking to do the work that you'll
At
sit
the
back
end of the day,
and let
man,
anything happen.
equal protection under the law means that not some people protected under the law and other people's left out. That's what conservatism is. Some people not being protected. It's not crazy. Like if you leave this thing undone, they could just do this stuff to whoever they want to, randos, win or whatever they want to. You have to understand that everybody here deserves the same level of respect, whether you
I
want them to have it
guarantee
or
you
not.
these.
It's not hard. Promise you it ain't hard.
I guarantee you, if they start deporting some black people to Haiti, they'll change the tune. American blacks to Haiti just because they can. They'll change the tune. Well, we just hold them in Haiti till we figure it out later on.
It's so crazy, man, that we can't even get people to understand the basics of American government, but they want to benefit from all the overages of the American government. Again, this type of attitude is cultivated among these people. Like, this is how you start listening to Dennis Sperling and all that, man, because you're not you want all the rights and benefits of an actual citizen without participating like you are a citizen. Crazy talk. But we've covered everything that we wanted to cover tonight. For those people who came through, make sure you subscribe to the actual channel so that way you can do actual related content without talking about all this culture warrior nonsense. And Mr. BGS have to actually tell us, what are you actually predicting rather than trying to take credit for things after the fact. So, in the last words, Inquisitive Prince.
They gonna grift. They gonna grift to the day they die. That's the only thing I can say.
Yep. The only thing they're doing is weaponizing the very stupid people among us. Renaissance man, any last words before we get up out of here?
Nah, I'm good. Thanks, Moti.
Hey man, thanks for coming by. Thanks for having the articles. Nagone.
Hey, ignorance is not bliss. Anyway, thanks for inviting me up there, MOT. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility to know what's going on within the environment where you live at. If you wait on other people to actually give you the information that you think you need, they're only giving you the minimum amount of information to stay stagnant. Remember, all of this stuff is being started by him within this space. Everybody ignores it because he allows them to get this stuff off about women, which you should have your platform removed, and you should be able to start your own private website if you want to do all that stuff against women. But they came here and actually weaponized the actual space against women because that's what they wanted to do. So I want to thank you guys for coming through. On the Man Tomorrow, you guys have a really nice rest of y'all night. Till next time. Peace.